Hello, I am back. I'm back from SMX live in Boston. And I want to get back to some of the conversations that we had there and really shed light. And this time we're going to be talking about the Universal Cart. Now, this was announced at GML, and I want to talk about it. And I want to talk about how Google announced this, the reaction from us paid search practitioners that were all sitting in the audience, and then my thoughts about it after coming back from SMX, and then having those face to face conversations with other experts. So, my belief on Universal Cart is that it was something that no one really asked for, right? Like, I'm a consumer, I like to shop. I don't want to necessarily add my Target order with my Costco order, with my Gap order, and have one cart and check out. That is not what I want. But I am the type of person who looks deeply at why Google would do this. So interestingly, I my first step before I really came up with this answer, right, was I asked Brad. I asked Brad Geddes from his own company, Analysis. So he has access to tons and tons of information. He's been doing this for forever. So I said, Brad, why would they do this? And he said, well, interestingly, some people like it. He said the types of people that are ordering huge orders for like an office building, they love a good universal cart because then they can just make one purchase instead of having to do purchase orders and all these things from multiple retailers. I'm like, okay, all right. So they made it for this one unique application and maybe they like that. They just make one big cart and they're buying for an entire office building. Huh. And so I'm driving today and I'm thinking, man, Google did this because of one thing. They never would come up with a product this big for one specific application. And then I thought, okay, well, they want Amazon budget. Well, I think that's part of it. And then I had sort of this epiphany. And again, I'm coming back from SMX. I was at GML. So what I believe is that Google is trying to become an operating system for all online shopping, not just the retailer, but the layer that controls discovery, decision making, and checkout across the entire internet. And Universal Cart is just the first piece of that strategy. So, first of all, what is Universal Cart? Well, I just sort of explained this. It lets shoppers add products from merchants while also browsing Gemini, search, YouTube, Gmail, and then they're going to be able to check out all in one place. And again, think about it like Amazon. You can buy from multiple different places, but you have one cart. So it essentially is automatically the type of place that's going to track price drops, deal history. So you know how on Amazon, if you add all your stuff and if prices change, like I'll do this, I'll add it to my cart and then I'll take it out of my cart, but save it. And I can see the price tracking and the deal history. And if it's on sale, I can convert it. It's going to flag any type of product incompatibilities, and then it's going to use loyalty perks and payment rewards, and then it's going to alert you when items that are out of stock restock. The other thing it says is it's going to let you check out with Google Pay or transfer you back to the merchant site if you want. But it's all in that one particular cart for you. And all of this is powered by, it's called Universal Commerce Protocol, and it's something that Google is pushing. And they're pushing this as a common language, and they've co-developed it, Google has, with Shopify so that the AI agents can talk to retailers and payment systems. Because again, don't forget, we're going to be able to shop in AI now. That's part of the vision that's being presented. And Google needs this in order for us to do that. So this is laying the groundwork. And so again, why did this announcement at GML feel weird? And my answer is because it is weird, right? Like this isn't a normal shopping experience that I am used to. And again, when we were sitting at GML, we all said, that's odd. Nobody asked for this. But again, I was at SMX, so we got to kind of like sit, have lunch and talk about this in a little bit more detail because we weren't really like at the Google headquarters. We've had the time to digest it. And what it is it's really a structural move more than anything. So Google themselves, they're shifting. And again, Google, the company, right? They're shifting from a place of we show you ads and send you merchants, or I'm sorry, we show you ads and we send you to merchants, right? If I'm the user and I'm typing for like a sweatshirt, Google traditionally would show me an ad and I'd go to the Gap to buy it. And Google, again, the platform is transforming itself as more of we orchestrate the entire shopping journey. And I think you'll often hear this as the curve is flattening. But this is really, really a big power shift. And so you might say, well, where's Google going with all this? Because I don't want to give up my power. And where they're going with this is they're starting to push the framework of agentic commerce. And what it is AI agents that shop for you. And so what it is a universal cart, right? This one cart plus UCP, this protocol, agent payments protocol, plus Google's long-term plan for AI agents that can autonomously buy things with user-defined limits is what the vision is. And this is why they need that universal cart, a universal protocol, universal payments, and that for to be a layer for them. They're building the rails before the agents take over transactions because we're not there yet. And at breakfast, sitting with Brad, I was like, I don't, again, I'm still not there yet because I don't want that. That is not what I want. And he's like, well, think about it from Amazon, right? He's like, Amazon, it's okay for like something like toilet paper it's on auto renew. He's like, but that technology has been there for a while. That's not something new. And he's right. So what it really is it's more of Google owning that decision layer of commerce. Google knows, right? Again, the algorithm, the company knows that most people shop across multiple devices, right? Like we'll shop on our mobile phone, move to our computer to convert. So we shop at multiple retailers. We spread our decisions across multiple days, but Universal Cart allows Google to sit in the middle of all of that. And again, think about how you'll add something to your cart at Amazon, you'll walk away and then maybe convert later, or you'll be watching it. And so if Google controls the discovery, which they already have a lot of that, the comparison, it's in your cart, they're watching, the price intelligence, which we're feeding it through feeds. And again, they have all that data. The loyalty optimization, which again, we're doing that, we're giving them that information. And then now the checkout process, they become the default shopping brain, not the retailer. And what this does is it's reducing friction and increasing Google's leverage, because the UCP and the universal cart, what it eliminates is cart abandonment, retailer specific friction. So if your website isn't up to par and people abandon the cart, or you're not doing the CRO that everyone preaches about, or you're confused about loyalty and what the deal is, so you abandon, or there's payment friction, their payment system is a little bit clunky, then you don't get the conversion that you want. But if all that is taken care of and it's better because Google thinks and knows it can do it better, this increases conversion rate, which increases Google's value to you, the merchant. And the more merchants that adopt this UCP, the more Google becomes the actual infrastructure of e-commerce. And again, I'm going to say that that's a moat against Amazon. Amazon owns the end-to-end shopping experience right now. I've referenced it several times in this YouTube video and podcast. I'll put this on podcast too, and of course on my blog. Google historically only owned the start of this process, the search. In the past couple of years, they've been building out demand gen. YouTube, they've been really selling us on YouTube. They're putting things in to make us want YouTube more. And Universal Cart is Google's attempt to own that middle, the end, and eventually that automation layer. This is the first time that Google has built something that resembles Amazon's one cart, one checkout experience, but across the entire web. So it's broader. And they're also preparing for a world where search becomes action instantly. Google's own words, UCP lets shoppers research, find, and buy in a single secure flow without ever leaving the conversation. This is their vision. And keep in mind, since it was presented at GML, it doesn't mean it's all the way there yet. This is what they envision for the future. And if this is what they envision, then this is the future that they're building. You ask Gemini for a recommendation. Gemini adds the items to a universal cart for you. Gemini checks compatibility, perks, and deals. And you, as a consumer, approve the purchase. Google Pay handles it. They take the payment and they do that transaction. Google becomes the transactional layer for the internet. The real strategic play is not about convenience for you and what you like. It's about control of the commerce graph. Google wants to standardize how merchants communicate with AI. They have invested billions and billions and billions of dollars in AI. Obviously, standardize how the payments flow and standardize how carts work. as well as how agents are going to buy things. Once the standard is adopted, Google becomes the default intermediary between every shopper and every merchant. It cannot take place without them. That is the end game. And so if you're a small business owner, because that is really who I'm speaking with, right? A small business or like a therapist or a plumber, or you own a small store, or you're a B2B manufacturer, the types of people who come to me saying my Google ads don't work. It isn't because your world changed or your ads somehow aren't necessarily effective in how you thought they were supposed to work. It's because Google's incentives and infrastructure is changing, and it's changing around you. So the old way of thinking just isn't as effective. And so I'm going to give you the core, concise answer, and then I'm going to get into a deeper breakdown here. Core takeaway that you should know is small service-based businesses are now competing inside Google-controlled commerce layer that you probably didn't even know existed until you watched this video and you got to this part. And so your ad's not working. It's often actually more of a symptom of the misalignment with the layer that I've been describing. It's not necessarily always a bad campaign setup or a bad idea. You probably have the right idea. It's just not in alignment with where Google's going. Universal cart, it's just something that's going to continue to accelerate this shift. For the small service business owner, the type of client that calls me, here are 5 failure modes you're going to start seeing over the next year or so, and how you can really, really understand what's happening. Again, Google's collapsing the funnel. I talked about it. They're owning the layer of the internet. And I've said it in other videos. I've used that word. The universal cart is built for commerce, but the behavioral shift spills into services. Users now expect instant comparison, frictionless decision paths, Google to do the thinking. Service businesses that rely on slow response, unclear offers, no clear pricing, no proof, no scheduling system. They get filtered out by Google's new decision layer before an ad even has a chance to work. Google is optimizing for fast decisions. Your business is optimized for slow ones. That mismatch is often why ads don't work as effectively in this environment. Google is now rewarding structured, machine-readable businesses. Universal cart, again, e-com and UCP is a structured protocol. Even though service businesses don't use UCP, the same principle applies. Google increasingly favors businesses that have clear service categories, structured pricing, structured availability, structured service areas, structured reviews, and structured onboarding for their clients. It has to be really, really clear and articulated on that website. If a business has that sort of vibe-based or just it's being passed down through generational knowledge that it's good business, Google's AI systems can't confidently match your business to a query. So your ads aren't failing or not working as effectively. Google just can't understand your business well enough to recommend you. Google is shifting from show ads to solve the user's problem. That's really the core of what this video is about. And Universal's cart is just a sign and part of Google's move towards agentic problem solving. And again, coming out of SMX, coming out of GML, hearing Fred Valles, who's a genius and has spent so much time studying where AI is going, talks about a lot of this. For service-based businesses, it essentially means Google wants to answer, who can fix this? Who is available now? Who is trustworthy? Who is nearby? Who is the best match? And then serve that ad. If the business cannot signal those things clearly, then Google is going to deprioritize that business and that ad. Google isn't showing ads, it's solving problems. If your business doesn't look like a solution, your ads are just not going to deliver. Local service ads now compete with AI-driven recommendations right there on the SERP. Gemini plus Universal Cart equals Google wants to be the default shopping and hiring assistant to users. So for service-based businesses, AI-generated shortlists, AI-ranked providers, AI-filtered options, AI-summarized reviews, AI-matched availability are becoming the new. If a business has weak signals, AI simply doesn't know how to pick them or to even pick them. You're not competing with other businesses. You're competing with Google's confidence score on who and what your business is. Most service businesses that I work with still have pre AI operations. This is the real reason that people keep saying my ads don't work. They have no online scheduling, no transparent pricing, no instant quote flow whatsoever. You have to call or someone has to chase you down or fill out a form. No structured service menu, no CRM or a couple CRMs, no follow up automation, no review engines, no mobile first experience, nothing we've been talking about for years. Google's new commerce layer assumes all of these things exist. It needs those to work. When they don't, the ads fail. So your ads are not broken. Your business is just invisible to the systems that decide who get the customer. Google is building universal shopping and a hiring layer. Your ads are just going to plug into that, but your business doesn't. My job when I work with you is to help you close that gap so Google can confidently send you the customers that you deserve. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. I know it was a long one, but I really wanted to record something the morning after I've come back because so many great conversations. It's great to be there. And it was something that I really, really was thinking about on the plane ride back and again this morning. If you have any questions, let me know. I will put this all in a full blog post as well, if you're the type of person that likes to read as well. Have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next episode.